You know, there comes a time in life when we stop taking our health for granted. Maybe we used to skip meals, eat whatever was quick and easy, or ignore what our body was telling us. But after 60, the choices we make every morning can shape the rest of our day, and more importantly, the rest of our life. You see, breakfast isn't just a meal. It's the first decision of the day, the first message we send to our body. And when we get older, our body doesn't process food the way it once did. Metabolism slows down, digestion gets a little trickier, and things like blood sugar and cholesterol aren't as forgiving as they were in our younger years. That's why being mindful of what's on our plate every morning isn't just about staying healthy. It's about staying strong, clear-headed, and full of life. Before we get further, I'd love to know, where are you joining us from? And if you find value in these conversations about living well as we age, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. It's a simple way to support this channel and keep these discussions going. Now, let's talk about the foods we need to be careful about in the morning. First up, the classic breakfast mistake: processed cereals. You walk down the grocery aisle and there they are, rows and rows of colorful boxes, promising heart health, energy, and whole grains. But let's be honest, most of these cereals are packed with sugar, refined carbs, and artificial ingredients. What happens when we start the day with a bowl full of sugar? Our blood sugar spikes, we feel a rush of energy, and then, bam, it crashes. We're left tired, sluggish, and craving more food before lunchtime even arrives. And let's not forget the hidden problem: gut health. Processed cereals often lack fiber, the very thing we need to keep digestion smooth and regular. Over time, this can lead to bloating, sluggish digestion, and even more serious gut issues. Instead of starting the day with a sugar rush, try swapping it out for something that truly fuels your body, like old-fashioned oats, a handful of nuts, or a simple bowl of Greek yogurt with fresh fruit. Another food that might surprise you: orange juice. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've been drinking orange juice my whole life. How can it be bad for me now? The truth is, as we age, our body processes sugar differently. Even though orange juice comes from fruit, it's still loaded with natural sugars, and without the fiber from the whole fruit, it acts just like any other sugary drink. A glass of orange juice in the morning can cause a sharp rise in blood sugar, followed by an energy crash that leaves you feeling sluggish. Instead, if you love that citrusy flavor, try eating a whole orange instead. That way, you get all the fiber, vitamins, and nutrients without the sugar overload. Or better yet, start your day with water infused with lemon. It hydrates the body, supports digestion, and gives you a fresh, clean start to the morning. Now, let's talk about something a lot of people don't think twice about: flavored yogurts. Yogurt sounds healthy, right? It's got probiotics, protein, and it's easy to eat. But here's the problem: many store-bought flavored yogurts are loaded with sugar and artificial additives. In fact, some brands have more sugar than a candy bar. And too much sugar in the morning doesn't just lead to energy crashes. It can increase inflammation, contribute to weight gain, and even mess with cognitive function over time. If you love yogurt, stick to plain Greek yogurt. Add your own natural sweetness with fresh berries, a drizzle of honey, or some chopped nuts for texture. That way, you get all the benefits without the hidden sugars. Now, we've only just started scratching the surface. There are still 6 more foods we need to talk about. Some of them might even be part of your daily routine without you realizing the harm they could be doing. Now, let's keep this conversation going. We've already talked about how processed cereals, orange juice, and flavored yogurts can quietly sabotage our health after 60, but they're not the only ones. In fact, some of the most common breakfast foods, the ones we've trusted for years, might be making us feel more sluggish, inflamed, and drained than we realize. Take white bread and pastries, for example. There's nothing quite like the smell of toast in the morning, or the occasional flaky croissant with a cup of coffee. But here's the thing. White bread, bagels, and pastries are made from refined flour, which means they've been stripped of most of their fiber and nutrients. The moment we eat them, our body treats them almost like sugar. Blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and before we know it, we're hungry again in just a couple of hours. And that's not all. Regularly eating refined carbs like these can contribute to insulin resistance over time, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. It also doesn't do our digestion any favors, since fiber is what keeps things moving smoothly. Instead, consider switching to whole grain bread, or better yet, sourdough. Sourdough is fermented, which makes it easier to digest and better for gut health. And if you're craving something sweet, a slice of whole grain toast with almond butter and a drizzle of honey can satisfy that craving without sending your blood sugar into chaos. Now, speaking of breakfast habits we've all been guilty of, let's talk about processed meats. Bacon, sausage, and ham have been breakfast staples for generations. But as we age, these processed meats start to work against us in ways we can't ignore. They're loaded with sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats, which can contribute to high blood pressure, inflammation, and even increase the risk of heart disease. You might be thinking, but I've been eating bacon my whole life. And sure, maybe our bodies could handle it better when we were younger. But after 60, our metabolism slows down, and our arteries aren't as forgiving. Too much sodium can lead to water retention and bloating, making us feel sluggish all day. And those nitrates and preservatives in processed meats, they've been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers over time. So what's the alternative? If you love a hearty breakfast, try lean proteins like eggs, smoked salmon, or even a plant-based option like avocado on whole grain toast. If you really want that savory, salty flavor, consider turkey bacon, or making your own homemade breakfast sausage with ground turkey and simple herbs. That way, you get the flavor without all the harmful additives. Now, here's one that might surprise you. Coffee creamer. I know. Coffee itself is perfectly fine. And for many of us, it's a morning ritual we can't imagine giving up. But those flavored creamers, they're a hidden minefield of trouble. Most store-bought creamers are filled with artificial flavors, hydrogenated oils, and high amounts of sugar. Even the ones that claim to be sugar-free often contain artificial sweeteners that can disrupt digestion and gut health. And let's not forget about dairy intolerance. As we get older, many of us lose the enzymes needed to properly digest lactose. That means those creamy coffee additions could be the reason for bloating, stomach discomfort, or even inflammation in the joints. Instead, try swapping out artificial creamers for real, whole ingredients. Unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or just a splash of regular cream can be much easier on the body. And if you want a little sweetness, a drop of raw honey or cinnamon can do the trick without overwhelming your system. Now, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: margarine and vegetable oils. Maybe you grew up in the era when margarine was marketed as a healthier alternative to butter. But the truth is, margarine is packed with trans fats, which have been proven to increase inflammation, raise bad cholesterol, and contribute to heart disease. And many of the vegetable oils used in processed foods, like soybean, corn, and canola oil, are heavily refined and can promote chronic inflammation in the body. Inflammation is a word we hear a lot these days, but what does it actually mean? Think of it like a slow-burning fire inside the body. It might not cause immediate symptoms, but over time, it can contribute to arthritis, memory loss, and even serious conditions like Alzheimer's. That's why making small switches, like using real butter in moderation, or opting for healthier fats like olive oil or avocado oil, can make a big difference over the long run. Now, we've already talked about some of the biggest breakfast culprits, processed cereals, sugary orange juice, flavored yogurts, white bread, processed meats, artificial creamers, and margarine. But there are still a few more foods that might be sneaking onto your plate without you realizing the impact they have on your body. One of the worst offenders? Pastries and donuts? Now, who doesn't love the smell of a warm donut with a fresh cup of coffee? It's comforting, nostalgic, and for many people, it's been a morning tradition for years. But the problem with pastries and donuts isn't just the sugar. It's the combination of sugar and unhealthy fats. These foods are made with refined flour, deep-fried in unhealthy oils, and packed with processed sugar that sends blood sugar levels soaring, only to leave you feeling drained an hour or two later. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Sugar is addictive. The more we eat it, the more our body craves it. That's why a sweet breakfast often leads to mid-morning hunger, cravings, and the urge to snack before lunchtime even rolls around. If you're craving something sweet in the morning, try a healthier alternative, like a slice of whole-grain toast with almond butter and banana slices, or a homemade muffin made with oats, nuts, and natural sweeteners like honey or dates. That way, you satisfy your sweet tooth without setting yourself up for an energy crash. Now, here's another one that often flies under the radar: instant oatmeal packets. Now, don't get me wrong, oatmeal itself is a fantastic breakfast choice. It's full of fiber, helps with digestion, and keeps you full for longer. But those little pre-flavored packets you find at the store, they're often packed with added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives that take away from the natural benefits of oats. What's the solution? Stick to plain old-fashioned oats or steel-cut oats and add your own natural flavors, like cinnamon, nuts, seeds, or fresh fruit. Not only is it healthier, but it also keeps you full and energized without the sugar roller coaster. Now, let's talk about something that might be sitting in your fridge right now: fruit-flavored smoothies from the store. A lot of people think they're making a healthy choice by grabbing a bottled smoothie on their way out the door. After all, it's fruit, right? But here's the catch. Most store-bought smoothies are loaded with added sugars, fruit concentrates, and preservatives that can spike blood sugar and cause digestive discomfort. Even if it's labeled as natural or organic, that doesn't mean it's good for you. Many of these drinks have as much sugar as a soda. Instead of relying on store-bought options, try making your own smoothie at home. Use real, whole fruits, unsweetened yogurt, and nutrient-rich additions like flax seeds or chia seeds. That way, you get all the benefits without the unnecessary sugar spike. Now, let's shift gears for a moment, because avoiding the wrong foods is only half the battle. The other half is making sure you start your morning with habits that set the tone for a healthier day. One of the best things you can do in the morning? Drink a glass of water before anything else. I know it sounds simple, but after a full night's sleep, our body is naturally dehydrated. And dehydration, even mild dehydration, can make us feel sluggish, affect digestion, and even cause joint stiffness. Before reaching for coffee or food, start with a glass of water, maybe even with a squeeze of lemon, to wake up your system and rehydrate your body. Another small but powerful change? Eat protein first. When we start our day with protein instead of sugar or refined carbs, it helps keep blood sugar stable, prevents cravings, and gives us sustained energy. Something as simple as a boiled egg, a handful of nuts, or even a slice of cheese can make a big difference in how we feel throughout the day. And finally, slow down and enjoy your meal. In a world that moves fast, we often eat in a rush, barely noticing what's on our plate. But after 60, mindful eating becomes even more important. Slowing down, chewing thoroughly, and truly tasting our food not only improves digestion, but also helps us feel more satisfied with less. Now that we've covered the foods to avoid, let's talk about what we should be eating in the morning. because avoiding bad choices is only half the battle. The real secret to aging well isn't just about cutting things out. It's about filling your plate with foods that nourish, strengthen, and sustain you. Let's start with one of the best foods you can eat after 60: eggs. For years, eggs were given a bad reputation because of cholesterol concerns. But the truth is, they are one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. They're packed with high-quality protein, healthy fats, and essential vitamins like B12 and choline, which support brain function. And unlike sugary cereals or white bread, eggs keep you full for hours, stabilizing blood sugar and preventing those mid-morning crashes. Now, if you're worried about cholesterol, keep this in mind. Moderate egg consumption has not been shown to significantly increase heart disease risk in healthy individuals. But if you're still concerned, try incorporating more egg whites while keeping a few yolks in your diet for the nutrients. And instead of frying them in vegetable oil, cook them in a little olive oil or grass-fed butter for a healthier meal. Another powerful breakfast option? Oats, but the right kind. We talked earlier about how instant oatmeal packets are loaded with sugar and artificial additives. But when you eat plain, old-fashioned oats or steel-cut oats, you're getting one of the best sources of fiber out there. Fiber is crucial for digestion, heart health, and keeping cholesterol levels in check. Plus, oats contain beta-glucan, a type of fiber that helps regulate blood sugar and keeps you feeling full longer. To make your oatmeal even healthier, try adding chia seeds, flax seeds, or walnuts, all of which provide healthy fats and extra fiber. And instead of sweetening with sugar, go for fresh berries, cinnamon, or a drizzle of honey. This way, you're getting a hearty, nutrient-packed breakfast that truly fuels your body. Speaking of healthy fats, let's talk about one of the best foods for brain health: avocados. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, which support heart health, reduce inflammation, and help keep the brain sharp. After 60, cognitive function becomes a priority, and eating healthy fats can help reduce the risk of memory loss and mental decline. Try mashing avocado on whole grain toast, adding it to a smoothie, or simply eating it with a sprinkle of salt and pepper. And while we're on the topic of brain health, let's not forget about nuts and seeds. Walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, and chia seeds are all packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for heart and brain function. They also provide plant-based protein, fiber, and a variety of vitamins and minerals that support overall health. A small handful of nuts in the morning, or sprinkled over yogurt or oatmeal, can go a long way in keeping you full and energized. Now, let's talk about something that many people overlook: fermented foods. Gut health plays a massive role in how we feel every day, and as we age, our digestion needs extra support. Fermented foods like Greek yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi introduce beneficial probiotics into the gut, helping with digestion, reducing bloating, and even improving immune function. If you're choosing yogurt, always go for plain Greek yogurt instead of flavored varieties, and add your own natural toppings like fresh fruit or a drizzle of honey. And if you want to take gut health a step further, a glass of warm lemon water or apple cider vinegar in the morning can help wake up digestion and set a positive tone for the day. Let's talk about building a breakfast routine that supports longevity. Beyond just the food we eat, how we eat, and our morning habits play a big role in how we feel throughout the day. After 60, it's important to slow down, listen to our body, and create a morning routine that supports long-term health. First and foremost, stay hydrated. Many people mistake thirst for hunger, leading to unnecessary snacking and sluggish digestion. Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, before coffee, before food, helps rehydrate the body, kickstart metabolism, and support digestion. Adding a squeeze of lemon or a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar can make it even more effective. Second, prioritize movement. Before sitting down for breakfast, consider doing some gentle stretches, a short walk, or even just a few minutes of deep breathing. Moving first thing in the morning helps wake up the body, improve circulation, and set a positive tone for the rest of the day. Third, eat mindfully. This might sound simple, but too often, we eat while distracted, watching television, scrolling through our phones, or rushing through the meal without really tasting it. Eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and savoring each bite not only improves digestion, but also allows us to recognize when we're full, preventing overeating. And finally, don't skip breakfast altogether. Some people think skipping breakfast is a good way to cut calories, but as we age, skipping meals can lead to muscle loss, nutrient deficiencies, and unstable blood sugar levels. A well-balanced breakfast gives your body the fuel it needs to function optimally throughout the day. At the end of the day, food is more than just fuel. It's part of our story, our culture, and our well-being. The choices we make each morning don't just affect how we feel for a few hours. They shape our energy, our longevity, and our quality of life. But here's the good news. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to give up everything you love. It's not about extreme diets or cutting out entire food groups. It's about balance, mindfulness, and making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. If you've made it this far, I'd love to hear from you. What's one breakfast change you're going to try after watching this? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, a like and subscribe would mean the world. Not just because it supports the channel, but because it means we get to keep these important conversations going. Here's to making the most of every morning and every moment. Stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.